We're back here, WHIP Radio in Philadelphia. Perfect holiday season if you're a Temple Owls fan. The basketball team had a big top 25 upset win over number 10 Kansas on Monday at the Wells Fargo Center as they beat them by 25 points. Transfers are playing really well for the Temple Owls. Now joining us on the program is a former Temple Owl himself, and that's DiLeo, who played with Khalif White, and that team went on a nice little run in the NCAA tournament before going down to Indiana late in that ball game. TJ, good to talk to you. Happy holiday season. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Well, thank you for coming on. And now you're playing professional ball overseas at Germany. I know you're in town. You're at the game on Monday night for the holiday season. How is life in Germany as you're playing some professional basketball?
Life is good. I'm really enjoying Germany. Team's playing well this season, and everything there is just good. So I'm really just appreciative to be able to keep playing. So everything couldn't be better.
The last time Temple fans saw you in a basketball uniform was 2 years ago as you guys went down in the NCAA tournament to Indiana in a really hard-fought competitive game as that team made a nice run in your season. In your senior season, you guys did beat VCU at the Liacouras Center, so you guys know what it's like to play in a big game like this Temple team did a few nights ago on Monday. But let's talk about your game right now. How has your game improved since you left Temple until now when you're playing ball in Germany?
I think in Germany I'm playing off the ball a little more, playing a lot of two-guard, but I'm getting a lot more minutes in Germany. We have a rule in our league that there's got to be two Germans on the court at all times, and I also have a German passport, so I'm on the court a lot. But I'm just a little more confident, just doing a little bit more, a little bigger offensive role for the team. Also, defensively, kind of playing the same role as I did at Temple, but just a little more confidence, a little more bigger offensive role, but just, again, just trying to do what's best for the team, what the coach asks, and just help in any way I can, do all the little things.
That's really interesting that you have to have two Germans on the court at the same time. And I bet you it's a little bit of a culture shock when you go from the United States to Germany and live there on your own for your full time playing professional basketball there. Give me something else that raised your eyebrow when you went to Germany and said, hey, they don't really do that in America.
You know what? Actually, the thing about Germany was it's pretty Americanized, actually. I'm talking to some of all their old teammates and guys I know in different countries, and they really struggle with the culture. But in Germany's pretty Americanized. Everybody's speaking English everywhere you go. Everybody can speak English, and everything. Just the culture, what they're into. They're into music, American movies, TV shows, entertainment. They're into all that stuff. So it's actually, I was surprised at the fact that how Americanized it was. But so that's actually what shocked me the most.
DiLeo is our guest. Zach Gelb here with you, WHIP Radio in Philadelphia. Okay, so you're in the building Monday night. Whenever you're in the building, Temple seems to have an upset. Even when you were a player, you guys took down Syracuse. You also took down Duke at the Wells Fargo Center. So what was your thoughts going through your mind when you're watching Temple just dominate Kansas? Did it bring back some memories from your playing days when you would beat those top 25 teams?
Oh, it definitely did. I mean, I really missed those days, and it was nice to see it. Temple, they really played a full 40 minutes of great basketball. Coach had the guys prepared. I thought everybody out there did their job. Will led those guys really, really well, and everybody just had confidence, and they just 40 minutes of great basketball, focused basketball, and started on the defensive end. They were great, and it's just nice to see what this team is capable of. I've been watching all the games, following them, so it's nice.
It's been a real typical thing here under Fran Dunphy of beating these top teams. 6 out of his last 7 years, they beat a top 10 team. And as you know, 8 straight years beating a top 25 team. You've been in those practices before a big game. What is the feel like with Fran Dunphy in a practice before a big game against a top 25 team?
Well, I think he knows that we can compete with everybody, and he kind of tells everybody that, gives everybody the confidence. And we go into every game knowing that we're going to compete. We go in game thinking we can win. So we're not. You never going on the court, stepping on the court, scared of the opponent. You're always prepared. If we play your game, we've seen it in the past. It's happened before, and we know that anybody who we play against, we can compete against. And so it's really just a little bit of confidence going into every game.
When these Temple teams are at their best, they have really solid guard play in the backcourt, and then they have a lot of depth. As your team that went to the NCAA tournament your senior year had a lot of depth coming off that bench, and then they really play defense. Last year's France team almost allowed 80 points per game, and the defense has done a complete 180. What have you noticed from last year to this year and the change of the defensive play?
I think everybody just has really bought in this year. I know just both individually and team defense, everybody guards pressure, keep their man in front, use bigs. I really noticed how good positioning they're in and how they make it tough anytime someone comes down the lane or anything like that. But especially I think Devontae's been a good anchor on defense. I know Jalen, Coach always talked about how good Jalen is defensively, how he can guard 1 through 5, and just even Obi's done good from what I've seen. So they're always in the back line, everybody's in help defensive positions. And when you're on offense, as an offensive player, that's tough when you're looking at the basket. Anytime you beat your man, and then there's a couple more guys stepping in to help, that's tough to go against on the offensive end. And I think really guarding the 3-point line better this season. So it's good once you get a little bit of confidence and you know you have help behind you. It's really much easier to play defense like that. And I think as a team, everybody's really bought in and just that extra effort. And they're finishing out possessions too. They're rebounding the ball. So that's big because sometimes it's tough. You play 30 seconds of great defense, and another team gets an offensive rebound. This year, I think they're doing a good job of finishing out possessions and just getting back on the offensive end.
I know it's obvious, and it's a fundamental that you're taught the minute you pick up a basketball is when you're on defense, you just have to talk and keep your hands up. Last year, they didn't do too much talking, and I really believe that the veteran experience of a Jesse Morgan and a Devin Coleman really have got this team to realize, hey, we got to talk, and we also have to put our hands up on defense. I think that's also a big difference, although it's a little thing. It's just, hey, put your hands up and talk on defense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just having those veteran presences. Everybody's a year older. We got 2 guys, Jesse and Devin, and it's just once you know where everybody is, you know someone's behind you. You know when the screen's coming. You know you got help side there. It just helps defensively and communication. Like so many times in basketball, the other team, offensive team, gets easy buckets because of breakdowns in communication, and if you really cut them down, you can cut down a lot of those easy buckets that can be the differences in games.
TJ DiLeo is our guest, former Temple Owl fan favorite. We also still see his head sometimes floating around in the cherry and the white student section, as a bunch of other players as well from his time at Temple University. TJ, I got to ask you, because in your senior year, Fran Dunphy, a lot of time in press conferences when we were sitting there in the media room, would talk a lot about your relationship with Will Cummings, how you guys supported each other both on and off the court. Can you just describe your relationship with Will Cummings? Because he's really turned into a sensational player and a leader for the Temple Owls.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm always there over the summer. I'm seeing Will. He's in the gym putting all the work in. I see him all the time working out together, and he's just such a great kid all around. He's just great family. His parents raised him really well, and he's just such a nice kid all around, a great person. And I'm so proud of the way he's developed. I know a little bit at the beginning of the year struggling, but I think he's really settled into his role. He's really becoming a better point guard, and I think the additions of new guys help. I think takes a little pressure off him. But I've always said Will is probably one of the quickest guards in college basketball. He can get to the rim at any time, and he gets to the foul line. He's a good foul shooter, so that's really dangerous. Now that he has some other weapons around him, he's really able to just have a better all-around game. He doesn't have to force things as much, and so it's really these last couple games. It's been nice to watch him because he's just putting such a great effort out on the court, and it's really showing the last couple games.
You're exactly right. That desire to drive to the basket, it also creates opportunities at the free throw line. He was 7 of 7 the other night up against Kansas. We've seen him at times this year get to the free throw line 15 to 18 times, which definitely helps the Owls as we're talking to TJ DiLeo. Let's talk a little bit about building chemistry, because we know this team did have talent on the roster with the Will Cummings and a Quinton DeCozy, some guys that have been here for a while, but then you bring in some transfers. At your time at Temple, you brought in some transfers as well. How long does it take to build that chemistry with the transfers?
It does take a little while. You think preseason would be enough, but sometimes it's not. It's usually a couple games into the season, and I've even noticed that playing overseas. Like, this is my second year. We have even though I'm on the same team, we have almost a completely different team, and it still takes a couple games into the season to really get that chemistry together. And you got to learn, like, you practice together all day, but you got to learn how people play in games. You got to learn what it's like to get just different tendencies of your teammates in game situations. And it's actually pretty cool how Jesse and Dev have come in, and it seems like everyone's picked that up right away. And I know that's a part of them being with the team for the whole time they've been here. But it's nice to see that they've come in and kind of started right away, got into everything, and everyone seems to be adjusting really well. So I think that's a good sign for the Owls.
And with the senior year Khalif Wyatt had and the domination in the tournament, going over 30 points twice in those two NCAA tournament games, anytime from now on, for the next 20, 30, 40 years of Temple basketball, whenever you have a big-time scorer, people will compare him to Khalif Wyatt. And even after the first game up against Delaware where Jesse Morgan was eligible, there were reporters asking to Fran Dunphy after the game, how does he compare to Khalif, especially when Jesse knocked down not one but two long-range NBA three-pointers. What similarities do you see in these short two games between Jesse Morgan and Khalif Wyatt?
They're both, the first thing I noticed is they're both one of those guys that can just get hot. That's what the team needs sometimes. Offense isn't going well. Defense, maybe it's good defense. You just need someone who can make tough shots and just get a little spark going. And Jesse can do it. Khalif did it all the time. Hit a couple shots in a row, and really that drains the defense a little bit. That takes the air out of them when they can hit tough shots and get you going, even when you're not running good offense. And that takes pressure off everybody else on the floor because the defense focuses on them. They're hot, and then everybody else gets opportunities. So it's nice to have those type of guys on the court that just can get hot and really get going a little mini run to get the team going.
You look at Khalif's body, and he's an unorthodox player, especially his style as well. I would always remember there was a lot of times in your senior season, and Khalif says, well, that Fran would be yelling at the court because Khalif would be taking too much time, and then the next thing you know, he hits a buzzer-beater 3 into the half or at the end of a game. How fun was it to just play with Khalif Wyatt? Because every time you watched him, he did something special.
It was great. The best part, even though he could score really well, he was one of the best passers I've ever seen. His court vision is great. Once you know how to play with him and plays with teammates, it's really fun because he's always looking for you. He sees you whenever you're open. So it's good to do that type of stuff and just some of the stuff he did on the offensive end was just amazing. Like you said, amazing body control and just finishing through contact and just his hesitations and the way he played, it was just almost unstoppable.
Two more questions with TJ DiLeo, who joins us right now, former Temple Owl, now playing overseas in Germany. Let's get to Fran Dunphy. You take a look at his teams, and you've seen this at your time there, and it even happened under John Chaney, was that his teams, they get better later into the season, and they really thrive at that time in between the winter semester and the spring semester when you could focus all on basketball and don't have to go to classes because you're off from school. What is it about Fran Dunphy's coaching style that gets his teams better as the season goes on later into the season?
I think just the way you're prepared going into every game. Later in the season, once you get a little confidence, preparation, you just go in and everybody knows each other by that time. Everybody knows each other's tendencies. You're getting into kind of flow, you know your role, and once you've got into that and everyone's buying in, everyone's playing their role, it's tough to beat. And just both on the defensive and offensive end, you're really getting confidence, and coach has you prepared every game. And the assistants do a great job with the scouting reports. And you see, and usually by the second half of the year, this is when conference play is starting, so it's kind of teams you're a little bit familiar with. And sometimes it's the second time around playing the teams, so you kind of know what's expected. Everybody's got that extra year or half a year of experience. The younger guys start to step up, and the seniors know that this is the last going to be the last couple games of their college basketball career, and it's just that extra little effort and extra little everything that give on the court, and just coach develops players both like on their on-court game and mentally and as a person, and I think that really shows towards the second half of the year.
Going into the year, people were up in the air of putting Temple into the tournament or not in the tournament in their preseason projections. A lot of people had them go into the NIT. Now you beat Kansas, and people's eyebrows, they raise a little bit, and they say, hey, maybe this Temple team has a chance to get into the NCAA tournament. That Kansas win is definitely a resume builder, especially when you beat them by 25 points, and they're a top 10 team in the country. You have Delaware State this Sunday, and then it gets into the meat and potatoes of the schedule with conference play. What do you want to see out of the Temple Owls as they try to make that push to the tournament and get ready to kick off conference play in a few days against Connecticut?
Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to see any letdowns. You want to keep building off this. Don't drop any games that are really winnable that you're supposed to win. I think there's a couple times in my career where that happened, and we got lucky and we had some big wins towards the end of the season to help us out. But it'll make it a lot easier if you take care of business you're expected to. And I think with this conference, sometimes you have a lot better chances to get some big wins. As you said, playing UConn, SMU's really good too. So just come in, get some big wins, get some big road wins is important too. Take care of business at home, and I think at the end of the day, they'll be in good shape.
TJ, it was fun to catch up with you. Best of luck the rest of the season in Germany, and we'll see you next time you're in Philadelphia. When do you come back to Philadelphia after you go back to Germany?
Well, our regular season ends, and the March playoffs start April. So depending on how we do in the playoffs, sometime that month, maybe towards the end of the month if we make a deep run. So April-ish, maybe beginning of May at the latest.
Well, best of luck. We appreciate the time. Thanks so much, TJ.
Thanks, Zach. I'll see you.